Brewers in Finland are working on recreating an ancient beer not from a recipe, but from samples recovered from a 200-year-old shipwreck. Now, I like the story for three reasons. One, it has obvious tie-ins to our theme. Two, it's about beer. And three, because I am Evo Terra. And this is the Books and Beer Hangout.
I'm having a problem.
Hold tight, kids.
Please ignore all crashing and loud explosions while we get our shit sorted out.
We're
Maybe.
working on it. Maybe.
Upside down, maybe?
Hey!
Oh!
All right.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Books and Beer Hangout. We are here with Miss Kimberly Chapman to discuss survival tactics for shipwrecked authors. Kimberly, please introduce yourself and tell us what incredibly high alcohol content beverage you are drinking.
Incredibly high alcohol. Well, I am Kimberly, and I am an author, and I make crafts and stuff, and I'm a mom. So that pretty much sums. That's why my Twitter is WriterCrafter. I am drinking very boring water because I have enough crap going on up here without extra stimulus. But my character, who herself is on G+, she has a beer, and I had to ask people for recommendations for a microbrewer in her area. She is drinking Sweet Action by 6 Point from Brooklyn because that name amused me and would amuse her. So.
Okay, so I think this is the first puppet. Is that technically a puppet?
She is technically a puppet, yes, but she does not like to acknowledge that she is a puppet.
I think we've wandered into material for another hangout, so we'll just carry on with the beer side of things. All right, I am drinking a Mother Road Roadside American Ale, a brewer out of Flagstaff, one of my Arizona favorites right now, and pretty darn tasty.
And I will back that up with the Big Bad Baptist from the Epic Brewing Company because I need lots more calories because I'm very hungry, but we can talk about that later. Jeff, would you like to ask Kimberly our first question of the evening?
I would like to ask her about the puppet again because that's a little strange, but we're going to go with the traditional publishing. So what was that like for you, your foray into the much coveted realm of having your book published?
Of the old real publishing?
Yes, the old real traditional.
Yes, so that would have been in the early 2000s. I mean, I was a tech reporter before that, so I had been published in real print for years before that. But my first novel, I did the standard thing. You shop it out and you wait and wait and wait and you get rejected and you shop it out and you wait and yay, finally a thin envelope comes with happiness. And I was very excited, obviously, because now I'm a real author, right? Unfortunately, the publisher, the small press I ended up with, went out of business. Not long after my book went to print, they actually failed to deliver some of the books that had been paid for by readers.
Ooh.
I never got a penny of royalties. My editor was never paid. My cover artist was never paid, and has since passed on, ceding me the old cover art. So that was not exactly a positive experience. After that, I then got that book to another small press that sat on it, gave me a contract with a definite publishing date, and then missed it and missed it and missed it, and then was being bought out by a fairly well-known medium press who took it on and sat on it and sat on it and sat on it and sat on it. So I basically decided, to hell with that, I'm going indie. And that's where I am now.
So we get to scratch all the questions where we say, what do you like about traditional publishing? That sounds like a terrible experience. It's just as bad as it gets.
Well, I mean, I liked the parts that should have worked better. I liked the at the time, I mean, at the time, self-publishing was still vanity press, right? It was still that dirty word that it isn't now. So I liked that legitimacy, or at least air of legitimacy that it had. I liked that I didn't have to pay my own editor and cover artist. I just liked them to have been paid would have been nice. I liked that there were promos and there were group promotions that we could, several authors could go in on. And I liked that camaraderie of authors that were all part of one publishing house helping each other, because, that whole rising tide, we all had that mentality, as opposed to this sort of dog eat dog sometimes that happens within the indie world. So there were good aspects to it. They unfortunately just not long lasting.
Right. So now you're indie published.
Mm-hmm.
You're on your own, right?
Yep.
So how are you liking this new experience?
Well, I definitely like the freedom parts. I like the fact that my editor got me the final thing back, and I was like, well, I guess my publishing day is tomorrow because I feel like it.
Right.
It didn't have to be like 3 months and on a Friday or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I love that sense of control. I don't love the high bills. I mean, because I do pay a real editor. I mean, it's $1,300 for my most recent novel, and that was a good rate because she's a long-term friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid a proper cover artist. I didn't get one of these slapdash thingies. I paid for my own ISBNs. I estimate that I'm about $1,500 in the hole for this book. So, that part kind of hurts. And I obviously don't like the fact that sales are hard. I mean, it's really hard to get the word out.
Mm.
That's by far the biggest. And then everyone's trying to do it, right? So.
Did you have a following that you were able to take with you from the previous version at all? Any connections at all, or did you view this as completely starting fresh?
It was a new book this time, so I saw this as starting fresh. I'm actually about to re-release that old book for free, like as a free backlist. I'm going to pay my editor this. I paid her to reformat it for Smashwords, etc. And we were going to re-release it at free and just kind of both accept that we're not getting any more money out of that, and hope that then generates sales for the new book that I just released last year. I had a following, I guess, on Google Plus, but that was like for other things, so I can't say it's translated into mega sales by any means.
So now, as an indie author, I mean, you're kind of hitting on it right now. The next question I wanted to get to, and that is that, you own all of the risk, as you said. You've invested $1,500 in this book, at least.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to invest some more money in the older book that you had as well to put these things out there. That's typically something in the past that a traditional publisher would do. So how do you feel about that? Is that okay with you?
I'm a very frugal person, so I don't like letting go of money, but I also don't mind spending it where I think it's valuable. I, as a reader, now have a rule: I will not read anything that's not professionally edited. And that means not friend edited. I don't care. Like, my editor is my friend. That's different. I just have had it to here with reading books that I can't even parse from bad editing as a reader. So I feel like I owe it to anyone who pays for this that it should be professional. So I don't mind it in that aspect. And I'm very lucky that my husband makes good money. So I can be a stay-at-home mom and afford to do this. But I'm also very cognizant of issues of privilege and such, and that's not something, some other friend of mine can just do.
So in your mind, if I could put words in your mouth for a quick second here, you don't see a difference between traditional publishing versus indie publishing when we talk about professional publishing. It can be professionally published either way.
Oh, absolutely. And I, as a reader, require it. I think a lot of readers require that.
I think the challenge, though, is, for me, is that you can't always tell until you've already bought the book and you're reading it.
Exactly. I wish there was a way, and friends and I on Google Plus talk about this all the time. What are strategies we could do as readers to find that, other than just reading other people's reviews? I mean, you can read blog reviews, but then even then, how do you trust one over another? And it's so scattered. It's almost like there needs to be a stamp that's, and because even if it's professionally edited, doesn't mean it's any good.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, there's
kind
enormous,
of like, yeah.
There's an enormous amount of junk out there. I also think you coined a new word in there that I kind of like. If something is friendited, It's
Yeah,
like edited by
I've
a
been
friend.
doing that. Yeah, I've just seen that around. Oh
Oh,
no,
okay.
don't pay an editor. Just get it. I think it's credited. Which is not even a good word.
Well, but it's
Like Fred,
appropriate because it's a
Yeah,
bad idea with a bad word to describe it. So
that's
don't
right.
even
Yeah,
don't even do it. So,
yeah.
all
And
right.
I see a lot of indie authors saying things like, "Well, editing doesn't mean it's a good book," and I'm like, "Yeah, but not editing kind of means it's definitely not a good book."
yeah, you're guaranteed to be bad over there. Not equal.
Okay, so what is the number one thing you're doing right now to build up your fan base and get the word out there?
I have been trying to do like proper promotions, like once or twice a week on G Plus or something, or Twitter, whatever, saying some version of, "Hey, I have a book and here it is." And that was not. I mean, my friends had already bought it, right? My friends who were going to buy it have already bought it. It wasn't really doing anything. And then a couple of weeks ago, as a joke, I posted that I wanted my book to get banned because Jonathan Zunger had posted something about a banned book, and I'm like, I want that to happen. And then I just, as a joke, posted all the things that would probably really piss off someone extremely conservative about my book. It's got science and atheism and sex and violence and possibly all at the same time. And I'm like, just listed the reasons people should ban it. And for some reason, that went viral enough that I had more sales that week than ever.
So what you're saying is there's a big underserved atheism S&M subgenre that needs a lot of
Well, it's
writers
not
out there.
S&M. I don't want to go in, but
Well,
yeah,
you said sex and violence, so all right.
well, there is actually. I have discovered, kind of by accident, apparently there's an underserved niche of guys who like romance that doesn't make them feel like a dweeb for reading it. A lot of my
Yeah.
best reviews are guys reading this and going, "Wow, this isn't a stupid, pink Fabio book, and I liked it."
And they're admitting
So,
to that?
All
Wow.
right. Well, as a card-carrying member of the Fabio fan club, I'm trying not to be offended here.
okay.
But a final question for you then. Okay, so now you've made the shift. You've learned the ropes of indie publishing. You said you've gone full indie, which I think is also like full Monty or something. I'm not quite sure exactly what you meant there. But now for your second go around, your next book, what have you learned that you are going to do differently the second time around?
Ooh, well, probably I've learned again with it looks like irreverence actually gets more attention than honesty. Again, like the second post I made last week that sold a bunch of books was I compared it to there's a post going around about Amazon has a 55-gallon drum of lube for $1,000, and I said buy my book because it's cheaper, and 10 people did. So I think I've learned that it's like I need to produce a professional product that is a respectable product, but I think I maybe need to back away about being so, you know, professional in the marketing. It seems like being a goof with the marketing works better, so maybe I should be pursuing more weirdness.
Well, I hope you linked it right when you promoted that, because I'd love to have people go to your book to buy your book and say readers who purchased this also bought this 55-gallon drum of lube. I mean, what a
That would be
great
awesome.
combo purchase for Amazon to recommend.
Well, again, because it has sex content, you might need it.
Yeah, well, when it comes to goofs and marketing, you couldn't pick two better ones than us. So, well, Kimberly, the technology issues aside, thank you very much for being on the program with us today.
Thanks.
You can find links to Kimberly's book, which is called Finding Gaia, but you can find a link to it at our website. Check it out. Show notes on everything at booksandbeer.com. The Books and Beer Hangout is a production of ePublish Unum. We help authors survive and thrive in a digital world. For more information on classes, education, and all the kinds of stuff that we do, check us out at epublishunum.com. For Jeff Moriarty, I am Evo Terra. Thanks for watching the show.